Hey guys, Michael Furlong from Rentroll Maximiser, and I have a fantastic guest. We've been chatting for the last hour and a bit, and I've learned a lot around leadership. We have the operational leadership,
yeah,
REIV, even I've got this now. Rebecca Berry, department head of Hockingstuart Belle in St Kilda, runs an awesome team, and we talked about the awards that you've been involved in. Team leader yourself for the last 2018, 2019 finalist, 2020 franchise agency of the year through the network, operational. You're just a winner.
we've got a few under our belt now. Very, very pleased. So is the team.
And a lot of that, and I think we talked a little bit about before, Beck, around how that impacts the landlords, how that impacts the tenants, but more importantly, how that impacts the staff. What we'd like to chat about now is, you've been in the industry for a while, same. Let's take ourselves back, Rebecca, 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Property management was very different then to what it is
so
today.
different.
Expectations on a manager today are ridiculous, aren't they?
They are so ridiculous, yeah. I mean, 10 years ago, it was pretty much end-to-end, no leasing consultant, and I feel like the level of correspondence was much less from tenants and landlords.
Yeah.
Now, it's almost threefold, the expectations to get back to people within sort of not just a day, but within a couple of hours. People really do expect a response within a couple of hours.
Email. If I haven't got an email, I'm sending a text. If you're not responding on phone
calling,
I'm sending the police. What? Yeah, and it's only like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's these little rectangular devices we're addicted to, where everything is now. So it's changed everything really. And yeah, the expectations on property managers at the time and the communication. Also, you know, keeping up with the legislation and all the changes, particularly throughout COVID. That's been a really tough ride. My team have done phenomenally well. I'm so proud of them.
Let's chat about that. So, so we're now October, end of October, starting into November. Victoria's been, we've had the shackles released a little bit, not a lot. We're still not allowed to go back to the office. We're still working from home.
Yeah.
You're in a position of managing a team. March comes along. We're tracking along, the year's fine. March comes along and we hear of this thing called COVID. It's overseas. It's now hitting Australia.
Yeah.
We're now into April and we're now starting to work from home.
Yeah.
How did that work? Logistically, how did that work? Do your team have laptops or they got desktops? Do they run off their phone? Have you got cloud-based technology? How did it work? How did you open?
Yeah, so everything is cloud-based. The programs that we have are cloud-based mostly, but we've also...
Property Me or Tree?
Property Me.
Property Me, yep.
Property Me.
And Inspection Express, IRE, are you using?
IRE we use, yeah.
IRE, yep.
Yeah, so most of the programs, obviously we have our drives, which we require access to our server. So we do have that option as well. So if we're at home on our laptops, we can log into the server and everyone can have pretty much whatever they have sitting at their desk at work. We did have a couple of people without computers, so they've been able to take their desktop home, and some of them have taken desks and some have taken their work chairs as well. So they've got a full setup at home now. But I think the biggest change was not so much working from home, it was the processes surrounding that. So really getting used to electronic communication with our tenants in the way of lease sign-ups. Because obviously they'd previously come into the office, we'd sit face to face, go through everything, and do the key handover that way. So it was sort of just getting that done really quickly, changing the systems and processes to reflect this new COVID normal.
You were saying something before, and I was just picturing, I don't think I've ever seen so many people's fridges than I have as I've been Zoom. You know, the number of people that are working from their kitchen table, dining table. I was doing a Zoom client call a while ago, and I was distracted by all the photographs on the fridge. And it's like, I'm not normally in that environment where you're so close. But even now, we're doing a Zoom call now. 5 years ago, 3 years ago, Zoom would have been, for us to do a video, we probably would have had to have had a script. We would have had hair, makeup done. We would have been, now, if a cat jumps through and a kid walks in, it happens.
Totally normal.
You know, interviews. I've had interviews where the internet's dropped down. I've had interviews. I like some of those bloopers where you see people walk out and someone walks in their jocks or their underwear.
Yeah. Someone took the iPhone to the toilet when she went on a Zoom meeting.
I did see that one. That was an interesting one. So technology has really played a major part in. Do you think that property management is easier or harder today than what it was? Because technology is supposed to make things easier.
Yes, you're right. I think the technology has made things easier, but I think the level of correspondence and the frequency of it has made things harder as well.
Sure.
So, like I said before, people expect things now, and that puts a lot of pressure on a property manager to go now. And even non-urgent maintenance has to be done in a very small window too. So there is that level of pressure. And it's relentless. It's always there, and it's a steady stream coming through. So, and the expectations of landlords and tenants are much higher now. The rents are higher. I think the tenants expect their maintenance done really, really quickly. They're paying good rents, and rightly so. So, I think always moving quickly. The pace has really, really picked up compared to what it was, 10 years ago.
But our fees really haven't been commensurate, have they?
No.
10 years, I don't wish to give away too many secrets. Let's just use the figures I use. But 10 years ago, we were talking 7% management fees.
Yes.
Now we're talking 7% management fees. And yes, rents have gone up, but so's everything else. Wages, petrol, everything else. But the expectation now of a property manager, I think, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this, Beth. Do you think that a property management company can just find a tenant, collect the rent, do the routines?
No.
Do you think that they can do that? Is there any place for that anymore? Or is that whole concierge approach come in?
Yeah, it is. It's coming in, and it's coming in fast now. The landlords want advice on how you can improve their investment, make them more money, which is hard in this COVID market. They want advice. They want advice on the market. They want numbers. They really want to know a lot of information, and a property manager has to be educated in these things so that they can think quickly and give the answers and the responses that the landlords and often tenants need. Yeah.
And it's interesting, the level of, I guess, appreciation, understanding that property managers have around investment is limited.
Yeah.
It's an area of skill that should be taught. Tell me a little bit about the training methodology within your team. How does it work? So you've obviously part of a franchise network.
Yeah.
You've got training, you've got office training, then you've got one-on-one training, and then you've probably got performance management.
We do. So I'll start with our corporate training.
Yep.
Our corporate training is absolutely incredible. Pre-COVID, we would have training probably every 6 weeks at the corporate office. They really have just elevated their training throughout COVID. We've had training videos where you can either watch them on playback, or you can watch them and interact with the trainers on the spot via Zoom. We've had that probably every 4 to 6 weeks as well.
Yep.
Our training academy is run by Adam Joski, who has probably the best training scripts and dialogue training going. Yep. So that's been so helpful for my BDM and for my property managers who like to list from their portfolio and by word of mouth as well. So that training has just been invaluable. And, it's not just customer service training, it's training on software systems that we all use across the network.
And the other thing which we're preparing for is we're coming into the end of 2020 is the new release of the RTA. So,
yes,
I looked at it. So the current RTA was written in 1997.
Yeah.
And it's been 2.5 years of community consultation, industry consultation, government changes to get it to a stage where it was supposed to be rolled out in July. It hasn't. And then in, I think it was May, the omnibus was written.
Yes.
4 weeks,
completely
threw out everything and said, we've got all this change. So it's 20 years to write a new one, 2 years to, and then in 4 weeks they've gone, and it was just mayhem. How did your staff cope with that?
They cope fine. I would do all the legwork, research everything, and then make sure that I would send them an email with dot points, because property managers are so busy. If you send something in paragraphs, they will not read it.
Won't read
It
it.
has to be clear dot points, highlighted red, the most important essential parts that I need them to read. Then I would do a group meeting via Zoom, and then I'd run through those dot points.
Sure.
Then every month I have one-on-ones with each team member.
Okay.
And I ask them, did you understand this? Was there anything that you want to ask me? So they get an hour each with me once a month to go through any of that kind of thing.
Is that with regards to the portfolio, or when you're in those one-on-one meetings? Because as the team leader, you've got to balance. And I think, to be fair, none of us are psychologists.
Yeah.
But part of COVID, there's been some underlying mental health triggers or issues that we've had to deal with. How many sessions have you had which have ended up in tears? Because I've been involved in a lot, and most of the tears are mine.
Yeah.
But
I think most of the tears are mine as well, honestly, but not in front of my team member, just me staring at my ceiling and crying quietly in my room, so to get away from the children after having to homeschool them for so long.
That's the other thing as well. We're balancing relationships, homeschooling, and being restricted. And if you go outside, you've got to wear a mask. It's just, I think the human spirit has been tested this year.
And absolutely has, yeah.
On top of being a property manager.
I call it COVID carnage. It's been an absolute train wreck. But honestly, my team have gone to the next level. We really haven't had too many people have breakdowns.
Okay, good.
They've been pretty good. I'm always there for them. I'll give them a lot of support, and so do my directors. My directors have been checking in with them on a sort of weekly or fortnightly basis. We have our Zoom meetings. So every Wednesday we have a Zoom meeting. I try not to the main thing that we do there is more about them. So I play little games with them at the start, and then I'll spend probably 10 to 15 minutes playing whatever games I've picked out, and I'll tell you one in a second. And then we talk about work-related things. And the work-related things might only be for 10 minutes because people, they really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I only need to really tell them about the changes that have happened and just make sure that they have the opportunity to ask me questions.
And everything's cloud-based. You can check it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Wants to. Are you going to tell me about Kahoot?
No. My kids play Kahoot, but I've never seen it. No.
Oh, I used Kahoot when I was doing the training at Hockingstuart.
Did you? I didn't think I ever saw it.
Oh, it's great. It's do you know who told me about it? It was interesting. I when I was doing my training for training and assessment, it's about adult learning. So I came across Kahoot, and I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. Came home and told my kids. And they said, "Oh, Dad, we use that at school all the time. It's really fun."
Yeah.
I was like, here I was thinking I'd created something or found something new, and they use it. Kahoot is great.
That's good. I should try that. I'm actually running out of ideas. But yeah, we have things at the start of the session where, if I feel their energy levels are a little bit low, I'll ask them how they're feeling out of 10.
Yeah.
They'll give me the answer. I'll ask them, and why are you feeling like that? There's other things where we go around the Zoom circle or the Zoom rectangle square.
Yeah.
And I asked them, I think we did one where I said, I want you to say 2 things that you love about the person next to you. Their good qualities or something you really like. And we went around and they absolutely loved it. And the kind-hearted things that they said about each other, they were so happy by the end of it. It was a really, really good thing for them.
So that's great, because I see leaders through COVID. One of the things that I've seen unfold is true leaders have led, fake leaders have fallen.
Yeah.
If that's one of a better word. The true leadership at the moment, and I've been talking about this a lot in the webinars I've been running with directors and seniors, your key responsibility is to manage the relationship with your people.
Yeah,
because your people, unfortunately, and you would have seen this, there's been some horrific stories of tenants, landlords, some of the trauma that they've had to listen to, the property managers.
Oh, absolutely.
For them to then spend all day, and as I said, and then they've got their homeschooling kids. Their partners may have lost their jobs. They've got their own investment properties not earning income. It's just traumatic. And I think this is where the true leadership, and so probably in a year where the Operational Leadership Award meant something, I reckon this year, Beck, it's meant a bucket load more, because I think this is one year where your leadership is probably being tested. I'm not doing
Yes.
you, I mean all senior
Yes.
leaders.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? From your job is really to build your people.
Absolutely. And it's what I said to you before, it's being genuine and engaging with them. Truly, you really do need to love your people and you need to enjoy being with them. You need to engage, you need to know, not private things about them, but you want to know how they're feeling so that you can help them. You want them to be able to trust you so that they come to you so you can fix anything that they're struggling with. And it's so important because often, I've heard of businesses who have managers that are unapproachable for their property managers, and that is just it's not on. Property management is such a hard role. It has so many different little facets, and it's really important that the leadership is spot on.
It's a hard enough job as it is, without the organisation through its systems, its processes, its leadership methodology, its lack of culture, making it even more difficult. You wonder why. And look, I'm not here to bag wages, but property management's not highly paid.
Yeah,
it's an okay job.
Yeah,
it's more of a vocation. You have to really enjoy what you're doing, and if you're getting battled all day by tenants, battled all day by landlords, but you don't have that operational leadership, that team support from behind, why do it? Why do it? So what have you learned the most through this last couple of months about your people?
About my people, that they're extremely resilient. They are so resilient. They're empathetic. They show kindness to all of the tenants who have called up requesting rent reductions for financial hardship. They've just been so empathetic and kind and really understood what they're going through, to the point where some of them do get upset about other people's circumstances. But I think their resilience and their willingness to just keep on going. For me, I have been able to, watch my staff work from home almost seamlessly. I can trust them so much. I don't need to sit on top of them or micromanage them. I know that they're going to be there doing their job, and I'll hear about it otherwise from complaints. And, we really haven't had very many.
Give me your view on where you feel that the industry is at the moment. You think we're in a pivot? I don't even want to use that word pivot, but it's that fork, isn't it? It's the fork in the road where things have changed so much. I've been talking about Zoom communication with landlords for years. Now, Zoom is most common. So will you keep that with your connection with landlords by Zooming and Zooming, by using
FaceTiming, Zooming? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's been a positive.
Yeah, and I've seen some of my team members FaceTime at inspections, outgoing inspections, so that the owners can see their properties. And I think that's something that we could definitely keep.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do you think the industry, do you think we're at a point where it's still going to, 2021 is going to be the same? Are we going to go back to just doing working from office 5 days a week?
No, no
6
way.
days a week?
No, absolutely not. We don't need to. We can work at home. And like I said, you can have a look at everything on Property Me or whatever software system you have. If you have concerns as a manager, you can take a look at all of that. We don't need our staff in the office all the time. It's not necessary. If you have a very trustworthy team, they can work from home.
And you said earlier in a conversation, you were talking about you have a job share team. So is that from a mat leave? 2 people have come back from mat leave, or it was decided that they're just going to do 2.5 days or 2 and 3 days? How's that work?
So we have a working mum. She wants to work 2 days a week. Her little girl is 4 and she doesn't want to increase her days until her little girl goes to school, which is absolutely fair enough. So we've found someone who can job share that position, and she's doing the portfolio for 3 days, and then Alison's doing it for 2. We also have the same setup for one of our leasing consultant roles as well. So it's a full-time leasing role. Someone's on 2 days, the other person's on 3. I'm always very open to these kind of things.
I think you have to be now, don't you? If you want to attract good quality staff, you have to be able to open up and work around them.
Yeah, and also you don't need to employ someone that lives just around the corner either.
No.
I've got girls that live in Geelong and Werribee, and they're so reliable and consistent, and the location really isn't an issue if they can come in a couple of days a week to do their routines when we're able to routines and private inspections and whatnot.
One last one. What makes you most excited about working with your team?
So many things. They're funny. They're really funny. We have a lot of team building things when we can.
Yeah.
They're very charismatic people, all different personalities there. We have some quiet ones who only come out of their shell when they've had a couple of drinks.
Sure.
We've got extroverts that are always very loud in the office. And I think it's just a fun environment to be around. And what I've noticed is that we've been able to maintain our good culture and friendship working apart from each other.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have to be in the office to maintain that, which is really quite incredible. And you can see the way that they look at each other and the things that they say about each other on the Zoom meetings, like what I mentioned before, how much they love and respect each other. And it's so important. You're at work for so long out of your life. You really want to love who you're working with.
Absolutely. Beck, you're not going to know this until you watch this back.
Yeah.
I leant forward and I just watched. Your eyes lit up. Your smile went like this the moment I started talking about your team. And
yeah, I'll start crying. Yeah, I do love them.
Leaders are created. Leaders, you build that. And I think today I've actually had an absolute ball and absolute pleasure in chatting with you, because you are certainly one of the true leaders in our industry. It's been my pleasure. I thank you for spending the time with me. The people that are watching this will look back. There's been absolute pearls along the way. As I said, you watch this part back and your face just lit up, because it's about people. Leaders don't put themselves first. Leaders put everyone else first, and then they want to make sure that everyone else is doing the right thing, that they're growing, that they're working well. And that's the sign of a true leader. And I think that's you. I think we've actually found one of our industry's true leaders, hence the reasons why you won that award. The REIV did the right thing. They awarded it to the right person.
Thank you.
I can't give you enough praise. It's been as I said to you before, I'm not stalking you, but I watch from afar the good people in this industry. It's too few. So it's easy to stand out in this industry, and that's certainly something that you're doing. Rebecca Berry, Department Head, Hockingstuart Belle, St Kilda, thank you for your time. It's been
Thank you.
Thanks,
Michael. Appreciate it. Bye.